Check if the system contains air or nitrogen. The phenomenon is as followed. When it is running, pressure and temperature of discharge in suction gas will be too high. Current will be too large. Compressor has abnormal noise, and the pointer of pressure gauge will be shaken. If there is such situation, please discharge all the refrigerant of the system and vacuum again. Recharge the refrigerant after it has reached vacuum requirement. If refrigeration oil goes out during the process, you should recharge suitable volume of refrigeration oil. P2. Actuation of low pressure switch. The actuation of low pressure switch is that the system pressure is lower than 0.05 megapascal, and P2 code will appear. When the pressure increases to 0.15 megapascal, it will resume. When the system is running, if low pressure protection P2 happens 3 times in 30 minutes, system will be locked and display H5 malfunction code. Only after restart the unit it can be solved. At this moment, you should check and repair the system. Find out the reason to avoid further damage of the system. Repair instructions when P2 appears. Step 1. Check if the connection cable of low pressure switch is correct and reliable. If it is normal, use the OHM range of multimeter to check the resistance. If it is open or infinite, that means the pressure switch is broken. Or, when the system stops, short-circuit the high-pressure switch. If the malfunction disappears, that means the pressure switch is broken and you should replace it. If malfunction still exists, the PC board should be broken. You have to replace a new one. If protection happens during operation, please repair as followed. Step 2. Measure the system pressure and compare with the pressure of normal system nearby to judge if the system pressure is too low or not. If the pressure is too low, check if the refrigerant is enough. Make sure the additional refrigerant is charged correctly and there is no leakage in the system. If it is normal, please go to the next step. Step 3. Check if the gas side pipes are jammed. For example, pipe is deformed, electric expansion valve is jammed, the low pressure ball valve is not open or filter is jammed, and so on. If above problem exists, the discharge gas and suction gas temperature will be too high, low pressure and current will be too low, and suction pipe may be frosted. For such situation, please clear the dust, wash the filter, or change the valve. If the system is jammed by ice, we have to dry the whole system. If it is normal, please go to next step. Step 4. Check if the indoor unit heat exchange bad. For example, the heat exchanger or filter becomes dirty, resistance of air outlet is too big, indoor fan doesn't run, or fan speed is too low, and so on. These will cause the low pressure side frosted or frozen. The suction pressure is lower and lower until the low pressure switch acts. If it exists, please check and exclude the malfunction. P5. Condenser outlet high temperature protection. Repair instructions when P5 appears. Step 1. Check if cable connection of condenser outlet temperature sensor is reliable. If it is normal and protection happens when system is in standby mode, the sensors should be broken. You can change it. If protection P5 happens during running, please use the temperature meter to check actual temperature of condenser outlet to confirm if it reached the protection value 65 degrees Celsius. If the actual temperature is in the normal range, it should be the problem of the sensor or main PC board. Please change the sensor at first. If malfunction still exists, you can change a new PC board. If there is no above problems, please repair as followed. Step 2. Check if the system running load is too big. For example, cooling in high ambient temperature or cooling with high evaporate temperature, which is because of indoor capacity, is overmatching. If there is such kind of condition, you can only turn off some indoor units to decrease the running load or add some outdoor units. If not, please go to the next step. Step 3. Check if the outdoor heat exchanger is well heat exchanged or not. For example, heat exchanger becomes dirty, air outlet and inlet is short circuit, outdoor fan motor doesn't run, or fan speed is too low, the air outlet and inlet of heat exchanger is blocked, the distance between outdoor units are too short, and so on. If it exists, please check and exclude the malfunction one by one. If not, please go to next step. Step 4. Check if system is mixed with air or nitrogen. The air has become vacuum is not well done, and nitrogen is because pressure test is directly done to the bow valve. Check if system is mixed with air or nitrogen. The air is because vacuum is not well done, and nitrogen is because pressure test is directly done to the ball valve. If system is mixed with air or nitrogen, the phenomenon is that high pressure and low pressure will be too high. Current will be too big, compressor has abnormal noise, and the pointer of pressure gauge will be shaken. If there is such phenomenon, please discharge all the refrigerant of the system and vacuum again. Recharge the refrigerant after the whole system reached vacuum requirement. During the process, if refrigeration oil goes out, you should charge suitable volume of refrigeration oil. P6. Inverter module protection. After 1 minute, since P6 protection happens to the electronic control system, you can use Query button to check the detailed malfunction code. If P6 protection happens 3 times in 30 minutes, system will be locked and display malfunction H4. Only after reset the power supply, it can be solved. In this situation, you should check and solve the malfunction in time to avoid serious damage to the system. When module protection P6 happens, do not change the inverter compressor or electric control parts before you check as follow. If there is normal outdoor Unit B besides the defect Unit A, and Unit B is the same series with Unit A, we can connect the inverter compressor of Unit A to the electronic control of Unit B to see if it can start to run normally. If the outdoor Unit A can run normally now, it means the inverter compressor of outdoor Unit A has no problem. But the electronic control probably has malfunction. Now, you need to check the electronic control of outdoor Unit A to see if the inverter module needs to be changed or not. If the outdoor Unit A cannot start normally, that means the compressor has malfunction and needs to be changed. If there is no other outdoor unit of the same series near the defect outdoor unit, you need to check and repair as followed before changing the compressor. Step 1. After 1 minute since protection P6 happens, please press the Query button. Malfunction code P6 includes L0, L1, L2, L4, L5, L7, L8, and L9. Then, check and repair according to solution of P6 malfunction. Step 2. Check the connection of the DC current wire. Make sure that the direction of the DC current be the same as the arrow marked in the inductor. Step 3. Make sure the electric safety of the compressor to avoid danger. 1. Measure the resistance between U, V, W terminals of the compressor. The resistance should be equal in between 0.9 to 5 OHM. Measure the resistance between each of the 3 terminals, U, V, W, and the ground to make sure it is in the mega OHM range. If it has only several OHM resistance, that means compressor has not been short-circuit and damaged. Do not connect the electrical control and change the compressor directly. If it is normal, please go to next step. Check the DC voltage between input of lightning strike protection board to the inverter module PN. to see if it is about 310 volts, which is equal to 1.41 times of local input voltage. If it is abnormal, the voltage of power supply is abnormal or lightning strike protection board is damaged. Measure if output DC voltage of electrolytic capacitor is between 510 and 580 volts. If it is abnormal, please check if the components such as electrolytic capacitor, bridge, rectifier, contactor, and so on are normal. After 5 minutes since cut off the power supply of the unit, use the diode range of the multimeter to measure the conduction voltage between P and N of inverter module, and the conduction voltage between P or N and UVW. The conduction voltage between P and N should be 0.7 volts, and the conduction voltage between P or N and UVW should be 0.35 volts. If the measured value is 0 or infinite, that means module has been damaged and needs to be replaced. Please notice the position of multimeter black and red pen while measuring. Step 5. Check the heat exchange condition of the unit. Bad heat exchange will lead to high temperature inside of the electronic control box, which can lead to DC module protect. If the bad heat exchange exists, you must improve the heat exchange condition and find the way to guarantee that the DC module can work in the normal temperature range. For example, wipe the thermal silicone grease well. You need to find the way to guarantee that module can work in the normal temperature range and wipe the thermal silicone grease well. After the above repairing, if the malfunction cannot be solved, the PC board should be broken. You have to replace a new one. E3. Compressor over current protection. Only after 2 seconds since compressor starts, system start current detection. Protection exists when compressor current is higher than setting value. Repair instructions when P3 appears. Step 1. Check if the compressor has malfunction, short circuit, happens to the strong power or terminals of strong power is not tight. Use the OHM range of multimeter to measure resistance among the 3 terminals. Normally, resistance between either of 3 terminals should be 0.9 to 5 OHM, and resistance between terminals and ground should be infinite. If the resistance is abnormal, please change the compressor. Step 2. Check if the system load is too big. For example, system is running in cooling mode under high ambient temperature or overmatching of indoor side lead to high evaporation temperature. If so, you can only turn off some indoor units to decrease the running load or add some outdoor units. If it is normal, please go to next step. Step 3. Check if the pipes of liquid side is jammed. For example, pipe is deformed, valve is jammed, or cutoff valve is not opened, and so on. If there is above problems, please check the system and exclude the problems. If it doesn't exist, please go to next step. Step 4. Use the refrigerant pressure gauge to measure the standby pressure and running pressure of the system. Compare with the other normal machines right there to judge if too much additional refrigerant has been charged to the system. Check if there is air or nitrogen mixed in the system. In this case, high and low pressure will be too high. Temperature of discharge and suction gas will be too high. Current will be too big. Compressor maybe has abnormal noise, and the pointer of pressure gauge will be shaken. If above problems exist, please discharge all the system refrigerant and vacuum the system. Recharge the refrigerant when vacuum rate is reached. If some refrigerant oil goes out during the above process, please add the right amount oil. P9. Outdoor fan module protection. Please note the connectors of 2 DC motor. If they are loosened or unconnected malfunction, P9 will exist, and the 2 DC motors are identified left and right. The connection cannot be reversed. Repair instructions when P9 appears. Step 1. Check the cable connector of DC motor power supply, feedback line or signal wire from main PC board to the fan module. If it is badly connected or loosened, If it is normal, please go to the next step. Step 2. Check if the heat exchange of module is bad or the high temperature inside electric control box lead to module protection. Please make sure the module can work in normal temperature range. If it is normal, please go to the next step. Step 3. Check if the fan is blocked or with malfunction. Please change the fan if it is blocked or abnormal rotation. If normal, please go to next step. Step 4. Check the input power supply module of fan module by multimeter. Make sure the output DC voltage is about 310 volts. If it is abnormal, please change the input power supply module. If it is normal, please go to the next step. Step 5. Check if the fan module itself has malfunction. You may use the module from the same series outdoor unit to test. If the malfunction is disappear, please change the inverter module. During all the above repairing process, if outdoor PC board needs to be replaced, please confirm whether chips of the board has malfunction. Pins of the chip falls off, plug the chips in the reverse direction. The correct installation of the chip should be according to the direction of half round. If it is wrong, please install the chip again or install the same model chip to the malfunction unit in order to check if the chip has malfunction. If there are no above problems, you may change the outdoor unit main board. After changing to new main board, its capacity code, address code must be the same with before. Part 3. Analyzing and troubleshooting the electronic function of the indoor unit. The status of 4 LED lamps of indoor units are the key factor of judgment of indoor units malfunction. Explanation of 4 LED lamps display. LED lamps flash slowly when power is on. LED lamps are all off when indoor units in standby mode. Operation LED lamp is on when unit starts running. Defrost lamp is on when unit is in anti-cold air or defrosting mode. Timer lamp is on when timer function is on. Checking sequence for new V4 Plus indoor units. System address, capacity, network address, setting temperature, indoor ambient temperature, T1B-T2/T2B-malfunction code. The display priority of malfunction code: E1, E2, E3, E4, EE, E7, E0, ED. The malfunction code doesn't display when there is no malfunction. Below is malfunction code table of different indoor units. In this section, we will take 4-way cassette indoor units as example and show you how to repair by 6 parts. 1. E2, E3, E4, malfunctions of indoor temperature sensor, evaporator middle temperature sensor, and evaporator outlet temperature sensor. 2. E1, malfunction of transmission between indoor units and outdoor units. 3. E7, EEPROM, defect of indoor PC board. 4. E0, malfunction of mode conflict. 5. EE, drain level above limit. 6. ED, outdoor unit fault. E2, E3, E4, malfunction of temperature sensor for indoor units. Repair instructions when E2, E3, E4 appears. Step 1. Check if the cable connection of indoor temperature sensor is correct and reliable. If the connector is normal, please go to next step. Step 2. Replace the temperature sensor by the 10K per 0.25 watts. Then check if the malfunction disappears or not. If the malfunction disappears, please change corresponding indoor temperature sensor. Otherwise, replace the indoor PC board. 2. E1, malfunction of transmission between indoor units and outdoor units. Repair instructions when E1 appears. Step 1. Use the OHM range of multimeter to check the resistance between PQE to see if it is short circuit, or short connect PQE on the other side, and use OHM range of multimeter to check if it is closed, to confirm if the communication cable is broken or not. If short circuit or open circuit happened, please check the communication cable carefully.